Hi guys, welcome to Cinema Express. Today we have Naga Chaitanya with us, who's a Telugu star, and he'll be featuring in Laal Singh Chaddha, which is releasing next week. Hi Naga, how are you?
I'm good, Karthik. How are you?
I'm good. Chaitanya, I want to start off with this. It's so great that in a span of a month, both you and Nagarjuna sir are going to come in two Hindi films. Okay, he's going to come in Brahmastra and you're going to come in Laal Singh Chaddha, which is a really nice moment for us. We know that Vijay Sethupathi was earlier supposed to do the role of Balraju in Lal Singh Chaddha, and after he left because of some scheduling conflicts and stuff. Uh, how did you come up with the role? Like how were you approached for the role after that?
Well, I'm not sure when Vijay sir, that whole process happened, but I got a call one day from Aamir sir's office, and they said they wanted to cast a South Indian for the role of Baba from Forrest Gump. So sort of watched it, and the same day evening, I got a call from Aamir sir himself. He did a video call, and we chatted briefly. And that night itself, Advait narrated the script to me, and I loved it. I really loved how they adapted the original, keeping the same framework in mind, but the writing was completely fresh, obviously adapted to various events that happened in our history that's influenced Indians in many ways, back then and even in the present scenario. So all this really excited me, and from there, yeah, I went to Bombay, met Amir sir, met Advait, read a few scenes, and from there it just fell in place.
Were you looking for some Bollywood roles before this? Like, was there always in your head that you want to do a Hindi film?
Yeah, I was always curious as to how the market will accept me, and as an actor, how I would sort of fit in industry that's already got so enormous amount of talent, and all the stars there, all the actors there have already been accepted by the audience, and they've been owned by the audience. So for a new actor to come in, it is a challenge. It's not so easy, so I needed a transition point, actually, to be honest. I was probably not okay to star in a film as a lead by itself directly. I needed this sort of padding. I needed this sort of base to support me. And I think when Lal Singh came by, it was the perfect opportunity for me to make that, to sort of stretch out and make that attempt, because one is they were casting me as a South Indian boy in a Hindi film, a Telugu speaking boy. So the language is such, yes, I'm speaking Hindi, but here and there, you will sort of see a slight Telugu influence in the way I speak, the way the character behaves, which gave me a lot of confidence that I could sort of bring my own over there. And apart from that, being mentored by Aamir sir, being able to sort of be guided by him, by Advait, gave me a lot of confidence as well. It's always important as to when it's your first film into a completely new playground. It's very important that you're held by the right hands and you're guided through the process. So all this worked in favor for me and really gave me that confidence to make that attempt.
How was it working with Amir? Like, how was the experience? You guys shooted in Ladakh also. Was there any sort of like difficulties you guys faced during the shoot?
Yeah, we shot extensively in Kargil, in Srinagar. Yeah. We shot some portions in Bombay also. Kargil was very, very extreme. We shot in a location that didn't even have road access. Yeah, Aamir's production, Aamir's team, they sort of put up a road. In fact, they took a couple of months. Aamir sir recce'd the place, and then they put up this road to go there. And then it was another 45-minute trek to the actual shooting spot. Of course, it was very extreme, the shooting conditions, but the experience was beautiful because I always wanted to be next to a person like Aamir sir, to understand his process, to understand how he works and what makes him who he is. As I think that would be any actor's dream, to be next to him and sort of learn from him. And I got that chance in Kargil, because we were cut away from the rest of the world. There was no cell phone signal. It was just about, those 45 days. It was just about getting the work done. And we spent so much time off screen than on screen. That process helped me a lot. It helped me break my inhibitions being around him, gave me a lot of confidence. and I made beautiful friends from the entire team, which I think the memories and the journeys that you get with every film, that's what keeps you going forward. Success and failure comes and goes, but it's what these people teach you that you work with. Those are the moments that stay with you and make you a better person.
While shooting, do you think there is a difference between how, like, while shooting in a Hindi film industry and a Telugu film industry, like, is there some sort of like little bit difference you saw in the shooting process or how things are done?
Yeah, I mean, see, every director, every production team has a different process. End of the day, we're
Yeah.
working in a creative industry. There's no rule as to how to work.
Yes.
Every way is right and wrong in its own way. So of course, every film I experience a different working style, and every working style has its ups and downs. But Amir sir's style of working is something I've never experienced before. He's a kind of person who tends to spend more time in pre-production than the actual production days itself, and the amount of time, importance he gives to screenings. He loves to showcase the product and get people's opinions way before the release itself. So all these processes were very new to me, and these processes are something that I believe in. Even before I had experienced it firsthand, I've always wanted to be with a team that follows this approach, because
Yeah.
I'm a kind of actor who believes in this kind of an approach.
So you're playing the role of Balraju, who is like Baba from original Forrest Gump. Now in Forrest Gump, Baba had a business of selling shrimps. So what is the business do you have in the film?
I'm not going to tell you. I want you to see and experience that on August 11th. But what I can tell you is that it's a business that is rooted to it's a product that every Indian will relate to. It's a very essential product that every Indian will relate to, and they've designed so much humor around it that it's going to really put a smile on your face when you watch those scenes come to life on the 11th. And it's beautiful because Lal's character and Bala's character, they're in the war together, but their mindset, their mind space is not there at all. Their
Yeah.
works are very, very different from what's going on around them. They don't even know why they're there. So that whole contrast just shines so beautifully. They're very innocent, very honest, kind of people that you would, when you look at, your heart will melt. So it's been put together so beautifully.
Chaitanya, I want to ask you this. This question I know has been asked multiple times, and the whole thing about the Hindi film industry and the South industry after the pandemic, the South film industry and the Southern films are doing way better than Bollywood, even like pan India. What do you think is the reason? And there's this scene like really like they have been come roaring like in the form of RRR and KGF. What do you think is the reason that South films are performing really well across India?
See, personally, I feel we've always made these kind of films with this texture, with this kind of emotion. It's just that in the recent times, we've had the opportunity to sort of expose them to a larger audience through the OTT or through YouTube. So the audience have become very familiar with our kind of films. But we've always made these kind of films. I'm very happy that we're getting the kind of exposure that we deserve. But having said that, I don't know why there's a north-south sort of divide happening. Because I personally believe that content is king, and whoever puts out the best content that everyone can relate to will win. So it could be from the north tomorrow, it could be from the south day after. So there's no divide as such that I look into. The thing that I'm happiest about the most is that all actors are getting maximum exposure now for their work. As actors, as makers, that's what we crave for. And I feel every product deserves the maximum exposure. So that's what I'm happy about. And I won't divide north, south or anything like that. We're all one. And it's the content that speaks end of the day.
Do you think that is the reason that a lot of like actors, like for example, Alia Bhatt and Ajay Devgn were part of RRR? Now Vijay Deverakonda is going to do Liger, which is again a Hindi and Telugu film, like it's shot in two separate languages. Do you think that is the reason like the synergy is happening?
Absolutely, because the lines of language are blurring. Everyone's happy watching films with subtitles, or they're happy watching films dubbed, as long as they can connect to the soul. So this cross-casting that's happening, it's not only happening here. Even if you look at Hollywood, they're casting people from India, from China, or from, wherever, Africa, whatever. So it's because we just want to make our content as relatable as possible, to a wider audience. So yes, it's great that filmmakers are taking this approach. We have more opportunity as actors. There are no restrictions, there are no boundaries. So yeah, going forward, I think more and more we're going to see a lot more of this synergy happening.
Your recent film, Thank You, didn't perform that well on the box office. And so when this happens, like when a film like you have done with Vikram sir, and with such love you have made a film, and which like doesn't is not able to perform well, how do you keep up with that? Like how do you like bounce back from that? How do you like manage the failure or whatever the sense of?
See, every film is a learning experience. I feel success and failure teaches you equally. In fact, in the past, I've been more thankful to my success, because how much ever people talk to you about it or guide you about it, only when you experience it will you sort of learn from it. Of course, the right way to not ideally learn is by giving a bad film. That's not the right way to learn. But it's just introspection. The films released, I sort of tend to read the reviews, read what the audience has to say, sort of see where I misjudge things, and move forward and try to correct it on the next film. Because I also consciously believe that we're not given too many chances these days, because there's so much talent around you.
Yeah.
Everyone has to be on top of their game. Yes, maybe the audience might forgive you a little bit, but it's not like before. Here, our chances to bounce back are very few. So it's important to always learn from your failures, or to learn from where things didn't go right, and move on and sort of try not to make the same mistakes.
Thank You was also sort of a very different film when it comes to like Vikram's filmmaking, because earlier he has done mostly science fiction.
Yes.
Like the films I saw. But what do you think was the reason to make a film like about an entrepreneur and a startup founder?
See, the point that Thank You was a film that we conceived almost 3 years back. It was way before the pandemic. Our thought processes were different back then also, to be honest with you. There's been a huge shift in the way the audience perceives films now in the theater and the OTT. They're very clear about the films they want to come to the theater for, and they're very clear about the films that they're happy consuming at home. And as actors, as makers, we have to be very aware about that shift also, because going forward, times are changing in that direction. We shouldn't fight that. You're saying, why aren't they coming and all that? No, finally, we're making films for them to consume. So we need to be aware about their pulse. So putting that aside, why did I make a film about an entrepreneur? Well, the point that excited me about Thank You was the sense of gratitude, that in life we say thank you many times during the day to, people for the smallest of things, but we forget to say thank you to the people who matter the most, who have actually influenced us. And in today's life is moving very fast. We don't get a moment to stop, think, and analyze, or sort of introspect. So this essence of the film really excited me, and that was the reason why I wanted to sort of tell that story.
You're all again working with Vikram sir for Dutha, and it's your OTT debut also.
Yeah.
And apparently you're playing a journalist. What can you tell us about the role and about the series?
Well, yeah, it's a horror series, horror thriller directed by Vikram. I play Sagar in that. I play a journalist. It's a very grey shade, something I'm really looking forward to, which I've not tried in cinema ever, because I've always had a question mark as to how I would be accepted if I did something grey for the theater. Because I feel when the audience comes to the theater, they come with a certain expectation maybe, and we have only about 2.5 hours to sort of unfold the story. But with OTT, people are watching it with a neutral mindset. That's what I've observed. And they're open to accepting anything fresh. And we have about 8 episodes to sort of, unfold the journey. So
and there are more chances of character development also.
Exactly. There are a lot of layers that you can sort of, marinate and bring out. So I felt the OTT space was the best space for me to explore myself as an actor, apart from what I'm doing for the theater. It's sort of like an alter ego within me that wants to try different, completely different stuff that I'm trying in the theater. I felt OTT is the right space to do that, to explore myself, explore the other side. And also going forward, I feel both the platforms, the theatrical space and the OTT space, are going to be equally strong. And as actors, we have to respect both. So that was sort of the inspiration or the turning point as to why I took that plunge. Yeah, it's going to be a horror thriller. It's based on the world of journalism. It works around the world of journalism, and I think it's really exciting. It's really exciting. It's content that I'm very excited about.
What is your favorite horror film?
I don't watch horror at all. I can't sit
Yeah.
even 5 minutes of horror. I can't sleep.
Why is that? Why is that? Like, do you get scared or like you find it silly or something like that?
No, I get very scared. Yeah, I don't find it silly at all. I get very affected by it. I get influenced. I can't sleep at night. I have to leave the lights on. It brings me a lot of anxiety. So, when Vikram narrated the script to me, he said, "No, I know you're scared of horror, but just listen to it. Just listen to it." So I did hear it out, and what strike me is that, okay, let me bring in this little child in me. I know how I get affected by horror when I watch horror. Let me bring that innocence to the screen. So that's what happened with Tuta. But yeah, I can't watch horror. I don't even know if I'm going to watch the final cut with complete sound and all that.
Still, what is the earliest horror film you saw? Like as a child, any horror film? Like, because you must have seen something which like created this fear, like after watching a film.
I think it was Ram Gopal Varma sir's earlier horror films,
Which one?
Booth and all that.
Oh, with Urmila Matondkar.
Yeah. It was. I've not seen a horror film after that, and I remember this.
It was really scary. It's one of my favorite films. Yeah, it's Booth. It's Booth with Ajay Devgan and Urmila Matondkar.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
I think the last one is Night Shyamalan's Village. That really, my friends took me to the theater, and you won't believe it. There's this other film called Don't Breathe. I know horror, but still, a film like that itself affected me. So that's how scared I am.
Do you watch Jordan Peele's films? Like, there's this new sort of social horror that has been come, like Get Out, and now Nope is coming. Like,
I cannot. I cannot. I get anxiety. My heart races. It's not a good feeling.
Okay, I am going to ask you some really quick questions. Okay, I am going to start off the first one. Your favorite Aamir Khan film?
Dangal, till date.
Dangal.
Yeah.
If you had to be one of the three idiots from the film Three Idiots, which one would you be?
I would be Aamir sir. Yeah.
Okay, any Hindi director you want to work with?
So many.
Name one.
One, Ayan Mukherjee.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like Wake Up Sid. It's such a favorite of mine. So yeah.
Maybe we can see you in Brahmastra, the second part. Okay, an actor or actress you want to work with, like in Hindi film?
Actor, honestly, it's always been Aamir sir, that I've always wanted to work with, and that chance has happened. So I'm really thankful to that.
After him, anybody else?
I'm a huge fan of Alia's work, so probably share some kind of screen space with her if you want to say actress. An actor I would like to work with, Manoj Bajpayee.
Manoj.
Yeah, I love his comedy timing. I love his comedy, and Pankaj Tripathi also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any Bollywood film that should be like you want to be a part of the remake of?
No, yeah. Remakes.
No Bollywood film.
That I want to remake South?
No. You want to be a part of, like if it's being remade in some other language, you want to be a part of?
See, remakes, I don't know. See, I'm not too fond of remakes most of the time, of course, sometimes, but remakes, have their own flavor and they've already set such a good standard. So I don't know how much justice I can do to an already successful film.
Okay, any film you like was made, not a remake, but you wanted to be a part of, like you saw this film and you thought that any Hindi film you saw it and you thought that I could have played that role or I wish to play that role.
Wake Up Sid, really.
Wake Up Sid.
Yeah. I love that film.
I saw this on your Instagram. You have a deep interest in cars.
Yes.
So I want to ask you, which is the latest car you bought?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, which is the car you want to buy?
I want to buy so many cars. You
have a particular interest in Ferrari, though.
Yeah,
I guess because most of the photos I saw was of Ferrari.
I've grown up loving Ferrari. I've grown up watching F1, and Ferrari's always been my favorite team. And I think it's art to me. It's very personal to me. Automobiles are very personal. They're not like machinery or something. They're very personal.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the way I approach it. And I love Ferraris. I love Porsches. I love Koenigseggs. These are some of my favorites.
Okay. Thank you, Chaitanya, for speaking with us. Best of luck. Best of luck for Laal Singh Chaddha.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.